Hello everyone, my name is Bartkowiak. I am a doctor of chiropractic and the clinical director of Health HQ here in sunny Southsea. And today we are going to be talking about some stretches and exercises that you can be doing to help stop things from seizing up during long periods of sitting. Now, we all know that sitting for long periods, whether it's in the car or at your desk or on the sofa, can make us stiffen up. Which is why in my post on how to sit correctly, I said that even if you are sitting with perfect posture, you still need to make sure that you get up and move. Now, as general advice, telling you to get up and move about is about as helpful as telling someone who's looking to lose a few pounds to eat less. It might be right, but it's just obvious and not very helpful. My goal today is to be a bit more helpful and to give you a few key tips and tricks that are easy to remember and do, and will help to keep you working better and without having to stop and do 20 minutes of yoga every hour. But before we do, we need to get our vocabulary right. Now, there is a difference between stretching and mobilisation. Mobilisation is taking muscles through their full normal range of motion. Stretching is taking muscles and joints to the end of their full normal range of motion and then pushing them to go a little bit further. Now, other than occasions where an area needs to be completely immobilized or splinted or put in a cast, then mobilization is almost always pretty useful and positive. Stretching can be very useful if done properly and at the right times, but it can be bad if done incorrectly or at the wrong times. So what we are looking for is mobilisation. Now, some good news and bad news. Bad news is that you do have to do something every hour. And that getting up and wandering about isn't going to cut it, I'm afraid. The good news, however, is that what you do need to do is actually very easy and can take seconds to do. For the basic part of it, you don't even have to get up out of your seat, but it does work a lot better if you do. Now, you might also be a bit worried that getting up and doing these mobilizations in the office might make everybody think that you've finally lost it. But chances are they are fully aware that you are as mad as a box of frogs and probably have been for quite some time, so embrace it, go with it. We've even had a number of patients come back to us and tell us that other people in their office have actually started joining in and that now a lot of people in the office do it with them every hour, which is fantastic. So, the three things we are trying to achieve are: 1, interrupt the being still. 2, get everything moving. And 3, get the best results we can as swiftly and as easily as possible. Sound good? Excellent. Now, point 1. Interrupt the being still. Fortunately, this is quite easy. My big note on this point is about frequency. It should be done every hour. It doesn't take long when you do it correctly, but half an hour of activity at the end of a full day of sitting does not work nearly as well as a few minutes of quality mobilization spread throughout the day. The longer you are still for, the more your muscles and joints will become tighter and tighter and stiffer and stiffer. This needs to be interrupted and reset. And the best way to do that is little and often, before it stiffens up a lot more. Point 2, get everything moving. The biggest pitfall people fall into is that thinking that activity and mobility are the same. They're not, unfortunately. Going for a good half-hour walk at lunchtime is activity and a great idea, but it actually does very little for mobility, especially spinal mobility. Like I said, mobility is where you move your muscles and joints through full ranges of motion, and a walk just unfortunately isn't going to do it to that degree. Don't get me wrong, activity is also important and necessary, but our goal here is to get everything moving more. Last point, to try and get the best results we can as swiftly and as easily as possible. Very few of us have the freedom to do 20 minutes of yoga every hour. We all have busy lives full of jobs that we need to get done, so we need a way to achieve steps 1 and 2 with the best results, but without having to spend too much of our precious time and energy doing them. What we want is a way to get as much bang for our buck as we possibly can. And the mobilizations I've put together for you here aim to do just that. So here they are. There are 3 levels for you: basic, intermediate, and advanced. Let's start with the basics. Technically, these basic ones can be done sitting at a pinch, but doing them standing is definitely more effective, so I will be demonstrating them for you standing up. Now, the first thing we want to do is take your spine through full ranges of motion in all planes of motion: forwards and backwards, side to side, and rotation. And we're going to get the shoulders involved too. First of all, raise your arms over your head and turn your hands so your palms face behind you as you reach up and hold for a second. Then stretch your arms out to the sides, turn your palms up, lift your chest up and arch backwards. If you've ever seen the way a high jumper arches their back over the bar when they jump, that's what we're aiming for. Now forwards. Sweep your arms round and up overhead before curling forwards segment by segment, vertebra by vertebra, trying to keep the movement in your spine and not hinging through your hips. At the bottom, for a little extra, you can reach down a little further with one hand and then the other a couple of times. This can get a nice little stretch through some of the muscles on the side of your lumbar spine. Slowly and carefully curl back upright again. Now for sideways. Like a ballerina, one arm swings up and overhead as you lean down towards the opposite side. Hold for a second and then repeat towards the opposite side. Next, rotation. Hold your elbows with your arms crossed out in front of you and then twist your upper body from one side to the other. Don't let your hips twist. Make sure the movement comes from your spine. And that's it for the basic level. Very, very easy, very effective. Takes seconds. Intermediate. Now, this one, I'm afraid, is going to have to be done standing up. A lot of people come to us with sciatic type symptoms, and the intermediate level helps to mobilize the areas that can tighten up and lead to buttock pain and pain down the back of the leg. First, lift one leg up, grab around the front of the knee and pull the leg up towards your chest to get a nice little stretch through the glutes. Next, grab the ankle of the raised leg with the hand on the same side and pull your heel back towards your bum, keeping your body upright and your hips pushed slightly forward to stretch through your quads and your hip flexors. Very important when sitting, especially in cars or low sofas. Finally, drop that leg down and put your foot about a foot out in front of you, lift your toes up and lean your body forward and bum back to get a stretch through your calf and your hamstrings, all the way down the back of the leg. This can be very tight on some people, so remember, don't force anything. Then repeat with the other leg. Now for the advanced ones. Sit in a deep squat. There are so many cultures that do this naturally day to day, and there are so many structures throughout your knees, your hip and your spine that love this position. Toddlers seem to be able to do it so easily and naturally, but as we get older, we tend to get out of the habit. If you find this position difficult or painful anywhere, run it past your chiropractor. But most of the time, holding on to something sturdy whilst you sit back and relax in this position is a great way of slowly improving over time. And it's definitely worth the effort. If you're feeling good down in this position, have a little wiggle and a bounce. It's fun. And that's about it. It may take a little time and practice to start with, but once you've got the hang of it, then you could go from standing up, run through the whole of this routine, and then back to sitting down again in less than 30 seconds. And if you do that throughout an 8-hour working day, 4 minutes of mobilization spread throughout that time is not a big investment, especially given the improvements that you could see from it. Now, remember, there is a difference between mobilization and stretching. Both are useful, but need to be used in the right way at the right time. For greater clarification and guidance on what you should be doing, how much, when and how often, ask your chiropractor. They will be very happy to help make sure that you're getting this right. But that's it for today. I hope you've learned a little something. Please feel free to refer back to this video so you can run through the stretches and exercises every hour, or try and get your whole office to do it with you. But that's it for the moment. If you have any questions, then please get in contact with us via phone or email, and we will do everything we can to help you out. In the meantime, stay well, stay safe, stay mobile, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.